Would you read this to your daughter? You ask me, would I teach that to my daughter? She has memorized it. Which said that a certain woman lusted after men who had members the size of that, and whose emission was the extent of that, like horses and donkeys, and that is similar to saying that a woman has swelling breasts. Moreover, the passage which she reads from the Quran doesn't actually mean that.
Okay, so according to Dr. Shabir, what actually Shamoun read from the Quran doesn't mean, it doesn't correspond with his explanation. I greet you once again, beloved, and I welcome you to Lawson Media. You know for sure that whenever you're meeting up with Brother Stephen on this channel, you'll have to take note of certain stuffs. That you have to get your pen, you have to get your book as well, so you can be able to jot certain things down. I'll be get to it because if you are a Christian, that's exactly what is required of you by God. I'll be get to it. It is actually stipulated in 1 Peter 3 verse 15 and 16 that you are to give a difference. I'll be get to me the actual thing the Bible is requesting from you is to defend your faith. I'll be get to me. Shouldn't just tell people that I believe what I believe because I was born into it. No, that would mean that you are operating on blind faith. I'll be get to me, but we know for sure that the Christian faith bases on evidence. Okay, it bases on prior knowledge. Based on prior knowledge. We do not just believe what we believe, but we believe because we have evidences. We have proofs, okay? We have everything that tells us for sure that indeed there is heaven, indeed there is God, indeed yes, that is it. We have every proof. You understand? Jesus Christ was God man living in the midst of men and all that. That's if you want to go to heaven, yes, indeed Jesus Christ, when he came to this very planet, and surely he went back into heaven, and people, human beings, saw him going back to heaven or ascending into heaven. That's Acts chapter 1 verse number 9. Thus, it is true for sure that the Bible the Bible is real, and God is real. Heaven is real. Jesus Christ is real. Thus, we do not operate on blind faith. We do not tell people we believe what we believe. We believe what we believe simply because we were born into it. Quickly, we are taking a quick break, and we are returning to react on a program or a debate that went on between Dr. Shabir and also Shamoun. Okay, we actually headed on to the portion of Dr. Shabir and it threw some challenge by telling Shamoun to read Ezekiel 23 verse number 1 through 21, and actually he specified it by saying he should rather read 20 and 21, and Shamoun read it. I'll be getting with me, and he also pinpointed stuff from the Quran, and he asked Shabir, will you also read this to your daughter? So we're actually get into the response of Dr. Shabir. Quick break, and we are returning. You're welcome back, beloved. May God richly bless you for waiting for us. Quickly, let's go to Dr. Shabir. Before then, let me say special greetings to you, Mr. Daniel Kwashishen of Palermo, Church of Christ, Italy, and Mr. Williams, pastor of Palermo, Church of Christ, Italy, Mr. COD, Brother Peter, Mr. Obed, Mom Esther, Inimna Samia Samoa, Uncle Sam, Toronto, Canada, Church of Christ, or Ghana House. May God richly bless you all, Mr. Edu. May God richly bless you all for helping us and sharing this program over here, Brother Peter Pauly, and also Brother Baini. May God richly bless you for your generous acts. Quickly help us with your comments and also your shares and also your likes and your subscriptions. Shall we go to Dr. Shabir?
I won't need it. I don't think so.
Well, okay, so he says he won't need it. You get that? He says he won't need it. He says he don't think so. He don't think he will need to read that to his daughter. Well, why is he saying that? Perhaps you missed the previous section, okay? You missed the section of Sam Shamoun. So we are going to take the latter part of Sam Shamoun's discourse, okay? He challenged him. He asked him a question. That's the exact reason Shabir Allah is saying he don't really need what actually Sam Shamoun is requesting. Well, let's take that portion, that latter part of his discourse, and we return.
Would you read this to your daughter?
So that is it. So Sam Shamoun actually asked, would you read this to your daughter? Because according to the Quran, in Quran chapter 55 verse number 72, okay, and also 56 verse number 36, the Quran actually, is it verse number 39 or 36, okay, thereabout, the Quran actually says that Muslims are going to be given wives in heaven, okay, 72, some say 70 virgins, and they are with swollen breasts and all that, you get that. So the men are going to be given or be provided with some huge manhood, so that they can and they will, when they erect, they will have to sleep with all the 72 virgins before they can go down or be get to remain. So the women are also going to be provided huge or something massive womanhood, so they can also receive what the men are carrying. I'll be get to remain. So this is like pornography going to go on in front of Allah in Jannah, and we would have wanted for Dr. Shabir Allah to debunk this ideology or to disprove this ideology, but as we go on, we are going to hear what he's going to say about this. Well, what next?
Now, Sam starts by reading the verse.
Well, according to Dr. Shabir Allah, Sam Shamoun is shocked by reading the verse. Okay, so did we see anything like that? Fancy Sam Shamoun was shocked or something like that? No, he wasn't, but I think it's a debating tactics. How we get to me? That is so. I think he actually cited Ezekiel 23 verse number 20 and 21. Sam Shamoun actually read it from the so-called children's Bible. I've already debunked that idea that there isn't anything fancy children's Bible. Children do not have their own Bible. How we get to children do not have their own Bible. Bible is only one. Bible is one, and it is valid for valid at all times for all people. It teaches the kid, it teaches the adult, it teaches the youth, it teaches everybody. How we get to me. So there isn't anything fancy children's Bible or something like that. So that's to you. To him, Sam Shamoun was shocked by reading the verse from the Bible. Well, I think it shouldn't be a shock, because any Bible student, anybody who is actually reading or studying well the Bible, the biblical text in their context and all that, and knows the history around or the background information about around any biblical passage they read, surely they're not going to be they're not going to feel shocked at this. How we get to, because Ezekiel 23 verse number 1 through 21 has a background history. How we get to me, and it isn't something superficial, it isn't something physical. Okay, it talks of something different, and it isn't talking about actual sexual relation or actual womanhood and sexual emission from men and all that. No. Well, quickly again, let's go to Dr. Shabir Allah.
And then he compares that with the verse from the Quran.
Well, exactly, that's what Sam Shamoun did. He did compare. He compared that the book, what actually Shabir Allah cited from Ezekiel with and to that of the Quran. You get that? So what does that mean? Is it not true?
But I wonder how many people really think that these two verses are comparable.
Okay, so he asks a question again. He says, but how many people really think that these two verses are comparable? No, myself, I do not think they are comparable. And why do I not think they are comparable? I think they are not comparable because the Quran is speaking in literal sense. Literally, Muslims are going to it is promised to Muslims that you're going to get virgins. There's going to be sexual competition in heaven. There's going to be sexual debate in heaven. This is literal. It's going to happen in front of Allah. But with that of Ezekiel, it isn't something literal. Okay, so they are not comparable. So if you ask how many people do think that these two verses are comparable, yes, myself, I do not think they are comparable, because the Quran is speaking in the literal sense and the Bible is speaking in figurative sense, and it isn't talking about actual what is it? It isn't talking about actual sexual relation or actual emission or something like that. No, it is talking about adultery in the sense that the people are driving away from God. How we get to me? That is it. And the Judah, it was a reference to Judah and Samaritans. How we get to me? And the Samaritans, they had gone away from God, and they had been drenched into apostasy. Okay, they became apostates by consulting idols and consulting other nations, consulting other gods apart from God. I'll be get to him. So that's exactly what God was through Ezekiel stipulating or saying over here. So they are not comparable. So if you ask, that's my take on it. What next?
What he said was, there is a verse in the Quran which speaks of women have swelling breasts, and that's comparable with the verse which he read.
So according to Shabir, when Shamoun said that there is a verse in the Quran that speaks about women breast, and that's comparable with the verse he read. So that's what he said. And I think when I was reacting on this, I said there is this logical fallacy called tukokwi. Tukokwi fallacy. I'll be get some says to cook, or tukokwi fallacy. I'll be get to me, and it's in this sense, like the you also, okay. It seems fancy. I've done something wrong, and instead of me accepting that indeed I did something wrong, I would rather pinpoint somebody. Okay, I did it wrong, but this person also did it wrong. Okay, the fact that you did it wrong and someone also did it wrong doesn't mean yours isn't wrong at all. I'll be get with me. The person did something wrong, yes, and you also did something wrong. They are similar. Doesn't mean they are not wrong. I'll be get to me. So you have to just accept it. Okay, accept it without referencing certain other people who also did the same thing or something like that. No, it's somewhat like Abraham Moshe when allegedly he was caught with someone's wife. Okay, and he came on the net, and he was like, on his platform he was like, I'm not the only person who did this. I'm not the only person who have ever done this. The president of Ghana, this one, blah 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 blah, also did that and all. That isn't a case. I'll be get to me. Okay, that doesn't exonerate you from the fact that you indeed did it. Okay, you have to just accept it. You did it, and that is it. We're not talking about what someone also did. You understand? So I think that's what Shamoun did. He said, okay, if indeed the Bible is talking about this, and you think it is something that is creating a shock effect or something like that, your Quran also says so. Okay, that is a tukokwi argument. Instead of defending it, maybe you also refer to their book as something that is also supporting what actually is revealed in your book. That is a tukokwi argument, and in a way, you've accepted the fact that maybe something like that is what the Bible what the Bible is talking about, but that isn't it. Okay, and I think as time goes on, Shamoun is going to exonerate himself from that. Well, what next?
Which said that a certain woman lusted after men who had members the size of that, and whose emission was the extent of that, like horses and donkeys, and that is similar to saying that a woman has swelling breasts. Moreover, the passage which she reads from the Quran doesn't actually mean that.
Okay, so according to Dr. Shabir, what actually Shamoun read from the Quran doesn't mean, it doesn't correspond with his explanation. So according to Shabir, Shamoun gave wrong interpretation about what actually he read from the Quran. You get that the Muslims are going to be giving huris, 72 huris or 72 wives and all that, and women who are having very nice breasts, and they are virgins and they have never had anything inside them before, and they blah 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 blah. So according to him, Shamoun, actually what he read from the Quran, that doesn't mean what he said. Well, Let's continue.
The verse which is looking at is from Surah Amma Yatasa'alun, which says, إِنَّ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ مَفَازًا حَدَائِقَ وَأَعْنَابًا وَكَوَاعِبَ أَتْرَابًا وَكَأْسًا دِحَاقًا.
Yes, indeed, the verse is from Al-Rahman, that's Quran chapter 55, verse number 72. Okay, what next?
You asked me would I teach that to my daughter. She has memorized it.
And you asked me if I teach that to my daughter. Yes, that's exactly what Sam Shamoun asked. Okay, do you read that to your daughter? That's the question.
Would you read this to your daughter?
Okay, so according to Dr. Shabir Alai, his daughter has memorized the whole of Quran chapter 55 verse number 72. Okay, his daughters has memorized this verse of the Quran according to Dr. Shabir Alai. And when they memorized them, how did they understand them? Did you brainwash them? And did they drenched into thinking that, oh, so we are of no importance in Jannah, we are only going to be used by men? Okay, and what about we getting married down here on earth? The men that are marrying us here on earth, surely we are not going to be useful to them in Jannah. Okay, because in Jannah they are going to be given virgins, and we are no more virgins, so we will be of no use. Do you understand? In Jannah, did they get to understand this, or you brainwashed them? Shabir Ali. Well, what next?
All of my kids have memorized it.
Well, that's exactly what you said. All of your kids have memorized it. We've understood. And did they just memorize them, or they memorized them with understanding? Okay, because in Islam, people are not allowed to ask questions. Do you understand? That's Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah 111. The Quran says that you do not have to be asking questions, because sometimes when you ask certain questions, when the answers are made plain to you, or when you are given the answers, they are going to push you away from the religions. Thus, you need not to be asking questions, because Islam is an information control religion. Okay, it's an information controlled cult. That is it. So if the more you seek for information, the more you collapse the religion. That is the exact reason the internet isn't helping Islam, because however many informations are going on the net, and they are disproving stuff in regards to Islam, and people are saying goodbye to the religion. That's what people do not like right now. So they don't want to ask questions. Okay, and I think the more you'll be watching these programs over here, you've gotten several lot of questions to ask your sheikhs, your imams, your ustaz, and all that, your abduls, right? Well, what next?
In fact, I will take you to the school where my kids have attended, and I'll show you that kids this high have memorized it, and they're studying that, and they're understanding it.
That isn't, I think that isn't necessary. Taking Sam Shamoun to the school where your daughters attend and asking them blah 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 that they've read and understand it, and that doesn't mean anything. You understand? That doesn't mean anything, because even it doesn't really make sense. I'll be getting with me. It doesn't really make sense. Excuse me to say, because if your children are reading this verse of the Quran, okay, most especially your daughter, because as we go on, okay, as we further on, Dr. Shabir Alai is actually going to accept or accede to the fact that they are going to be marrying in Jannah. They are going to be giving virgins in Jannah. They are going to have sex in Jannah. Do you understand? And their daughters down here are not going to benefit anything. Okay? There isn't going to be anything of beneficial about them, because they are no longer virgins. They are going to be marrying on the very planet and all that. Okay? And in Jannah there, Allah needs virgins for men who has been provided with stronger and longer and bigger manhoods. Do you understand? That's exactly what's going to go on over there. So they are going to be of no importance in Jannah. So if they are reading this and they still appreciate the Quran and all that, I don't think it does make sense. Or is it that they've been brainwashed and they are not allowed to be asking questions? You just leave your children in the jar. Leave your children, like, just give them the chance to be asking you questions, and you will see the questions that they will propound. Well, what next?
Kawaib actually refers to attractive women, and that is promised to men in paradise.
So, according to Dr. Shabir Alai, the word Hawaib actually refers to attractive women, and that is promised to men in paradise. You get that? So, according to Dr. Shabir, the virgins, the women with a very very nice breasts, okay, very nice breasts and all that. These virgins and all that has been promised to Muslim men. You see, he's acceding to the fact that women has been promised to them. So in the Islamic Jannah, in the Islamic heaven, the men are going to marry over there. Okay, and Shabir Ali is actually going to say something in this discourse, and it will blow your mind. How we get to me? So he was able to say that that is the exact reason they do not go beyond their wives while on earth right here, because most Muslims are having 2, 3, 4 wives. Some are having 10, some are having 8 and all that. Even some are having, I think, 20. In Nigeria, there came out a video that was depicted, that was about a man who had married about 20 or something wives, or 100 wives or so. How we get to me? So this is it. The thing is, Muslims are actually having wives down here on earth, and Shabir Ali says that they don't go beyond their wives, because in heaven they are going to be given 70 virgins. They are going to be given more women. That's why they don't go beyond, or they don't go outside their wives. So what about the women? What about the women? What promise has Allah for them? What promise has Allah for them? Are they also this is something else. Well, shall we proceed?
Yes, we're not ashamed to say that the Quran has promised men to have women in paradise.
So you see, just as I said, Shabir Ali says they are not ashamed as Muslims to say that the Quran have promised them or to have women in paradise. They are not ashamed. You should be ashamed. You should and must be ashamed. Why? Because heaven isn't a physical place. Heaven is a spiritual realm. Okay? Heaven is the abode of God. And all these physical or physical appetites we have over here belongs to this universe. Sex belongs to this universe. Sex doesn't belong in heaven. Do you understand? God had a purpose for creating this kind of fields within our bodies or within our system. Why? Because of procreation. Okay? God created or chipped this into our bodies because of procreation. So we have sex on earth and we procreate. We give birth to children. We give birth to children so that generation will come and generation will go, generation will come and generation will go, and all that. But in heaven, we are going to live eternal life. Thus, no one is going to die, and thus, sexual relation isn't needed in heaven. No one is going to give birth there. Heaven is a holy place. Okay, sexual relations are not going to go on over there. Okay, but Muslims do cling to this ideology, and we are very happy all because in Islam, all you think about is propagating and spreading Islam. Okay, just marrying, taking a lot of wives, taking a lot of women as a single man, and be giving a lot of births and all that. You see, the sex is something that is very much unique, special to most Islamic sheikhs, most Islamic apologists. You see how Dr. Shabir Ali is defending this. He's not done defending it. Let's proceed.
And that helps us to avoid having women here outside of marriage.
So you see, he says, and that helps us, that is the Muslims, to avoid having women here outside of marriage. You get that? So had it not been that Muslims has been promised women in paradise or in Jannah, okay, they would go beyond, or they would cheat on their wives. Okay, they would have been cheating on their wives, but they don't want to do this because in Jannah or in paradise, okay, they are going to attain, they are going to secure 72 or 70 virgins. Okay, and they are going to, their sexual appetite will never ever leave them. They will never feel any pain. They will never feel any weakness. They will they'll be stronger. Okay, their manhood will be on and on and on, and they will never turn down. You get that? Until one man is done with 70 virgins in sex. Wow, sex competition. Sex competition in Islamic heaven, Islamic Jannah, Islamic paradise. You get that? So according to Dr. Shabir, that helps them. Okay, the promise they've been given in the Quran that they are going to get 70 virgins, they are going to have sex in Jannah, actually helps them to avoid having women here outside of marriage. Had it not been that promise, they would have women outside of their marriage. Even are you able to go by what the Quran says? Surah An-Nisa ayah 3 and Surah An-Nisa ayah 129. What does the Quran say? The Quran says that every Muslim needs to marry only one. Do you marry only one? The Quran never tells you to marry 2, 3, or 4. The Quran says no. If you can be truthful to all of them, then marry 4. But if you can't, marry only one. And verse number 129 says, no matter what you do, no matter how much you may try, you can never marry multiple wives and be truthful to them or that. The Quran is saying marry only one. It's conditional. How many wives do you have? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And still, had it not been that Allah has given you this promise in the Quran, you would go beyond your wives. You are not going beyond your wives, all because you are not going outside. What is it? You are not taking women outside marriage, the marriage bond, all because you think you're going to be provided 70 virgins in Jannah. Just keep on dreaming, okay? Keep on dreaming. You're never going to get anything like that. Islam will never help you with this ideology. Heaven is in a physical area. Well, shall we continue?
Because we know we're going to have it there.
You get that? They are not going outside the marriage bond because they know they are going to get more women in heaven. What is this? Dr. Shabir, don't you feel shy saying this? He seems very bold. He seems very happy at spreading this kind of information. And this is very much disgusting about the Islamic heaven. Okay, is it a porn house? Pornography, sexual competition, sexual debate. What is that? Okay, shall we proceed?
But those who think they're not going to have it there are often having it right here.
All right, again, let's continue. So you saw the reaction of Shamoun, right? That was Shamoun's reaction. It is very funny. It is very funny because the Islamic heaven is what is it? Even the physical area or the physical earth is somewhere somehow very holier than the Islamic heaven. How we get to me? That is it. Because in the Islamic heaven, sex is going to be something else. Okay, it's going to be taking in fancy water. How we get to me? Well, shall we proceed?
Now I want to ask you, has your daughter memorized the verse which you have read here?
Okay, so he asked a question. He says, now I want to ask you, has your daughter memorized the verse you just read here? Okay, so according to him, he's asking of whether or not Ezekiel 23 verse number 20 and 21, or Ezekiel, whole of the book of Ezekiel 23 has been memorized by some Shamoun's daughter or something like that. You see, in Christianity, we do not just do memorizations. Okay, in Islam, you do all these memorizations all because you have to, if you were to be given the chance, seriously, you would be asking questions, you would be searching into your religion that would help, and those researches would help you to debunk or to desert the religion. This is what your executives do not want. That they've given you fake promises. Fancy you should be doing memorizations, memorize and all that. So you hear from the muezzin, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. You see, every day the repetition, you repeat only one prayer. Fajr, Zuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. That is it. And most of the Muslims do not understand even what they say because it is always in Arabic. Okay, most of the Muslims in Ghana here do not understand anything. Okay, it is something that has already been written for them. It's a written prayer. You have to always be repeating the same prayer. You don't have any request. You don't have any personal request. You don't have to be communicating with Allah. No, He has his specialized prayer for you. Always be repeating the same prayer. That is exactly what you do in Islam. Okay, all you have to do is to memorize. That is it. You don't have to be asking questions. So memorizing the whole of Quran doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. We don't just memorize biblical verses. Okay, we memorize them with understandings. We study them and we ask questions and we challenge certain constructions and all that. And whenever we speak outside there, we know what we're talking about. Okay, you were saying people are not familiar with biblical passages, but Dr. Shabir Ali, yourself, you are not familiar with the biblical passages. You wouldn't have argued this way on Ezekiel 23, verse number 1 through 21, or most especially verse number 20 and 21. If you are very much familiar with the biblical verses, you wouldn't be arguing this way. Well, what next?
And I want to know how many people have memorized the verse which was read here from the Bible.
Well, that doesn't matter. It isn't necessary. So if either we've memorized it or we've not memorized it, if you go to the Missouri Institute of Biblical Studies, Ghana, seriously, you know for sure you will memorize the Bible from Genesis up to Revelation. You'll be writing memorized verses and all that. Myself, I went through this fire before coming here. I'll be getting with me. So we do memorize biblical verses, but we do not memorize them for memorizing sake. We memorize them after studying them and understanding them, after researching into the text and the context before. But that is it. We do not just memorize them for memorization sake. No, we don't just do that. You understand? Well, what next?
On the other hand, how many people have memorized the verse which was read from the Quran?
Okay, so he asked this question, so it's a challenge. How many people has memorized this Quranic verse? And the Muslims just rolled their hands and all that. So meaning Muslims are doing good by memorizing their book and also what it doesn't mean anything. Just memorizing your book doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. You understand? Yeah, we do not memorize the Bible for memorization's sake. We study the Bible. You understand? We study it. We don't just memorize it. Okay, we are not like Muslims. You need to be spending your time to memorize the whole Quran and all that without understanding. Okay, most Muslims will be able to recite everything to you, but they don't understand it. Okay, they don't ask questions. What brought about this verse in the Quran? Why is the Quran saying this? Why is it saying that? Why is it saying this? Why is it saying that? That is the exact reason people are now getting the understanding of what they memorized. That is why they are living Islam. You see, that is why they are living Islam. They don't want to be any longer brainwashed by you guys. Well, last, and we ended up.
There you go. How many people would teach that to their kids? Yes, we teach that to our kids. In fact, many young kids all over the world have memorized the entire Quran. We recite the Quran without shame.
Okay, so he says, how many teaches that to their kids? We teach that to our kids, and in fact, kids all over the world have memorized the entire Quran. And you see, he recites the Quran, blah, 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 blah. This is it. This is nothing. This is nothing. I hope you get with me. It is nothing. Muslims can keep on memorizing, reciting your Quran and all that. It is nothing. Okay? It is nothing. Those of you who goes to Makaranta and all that and you'll be memorizing the Quran and all that, do you understand what you're memorizing? The understanding is what's important. Don't just memorize them. Ask your sheikhs. Ask your imams, please, what is the meaning of what we are memorizing? I'm done memorizing it. Please explain it to me. What does it mean? Ask questions, research, okay, into them, research about them, and ask questions. Ask your imams, ask your sheikhs. Why am I to memorize it? Why is it by force for me to memorize it? How is it going to benefit me? Because in Islam, the more you memorize, the more maybe you're going to attain salvation someday. But that is also not assured in Islam. According to Surah Al-Qasas, ayah 68, Allah has already made you like a toy. You are already determined. You are predestined. Thus, you do not do anything to shock Allah. Okay, you cannot surprise Allah. By Allah's will, you can go to Jannah. By Allah's will, you cannot go to Jannah. Even if you does what Allah requires of you and all that, and even you should have been dragged into heaven, the moment even you get your 1 foot over there, Allah is going to take it out and He's going to cast you into hell. Okay, by His will, He can take people from hell to Jannah. By His will, He can take people to from Jannah to hell, because no one surprises Him. Okay, it is by His will you do good. It is by His will you do bad. So if you are an armed robber, if you are a thief, if you are a righteous person, if you are an unrighteous person, it is by Allah's will you are a righteous person. It is by Allah's will you are an unrighteous person. Thus, He is not going to judge a toy. You understand? So why do you have to be given these kind of promises? If you memorize this, if you memorize that, you're going to get this, you're going to get... No. Even in your articles of faith and all that, that is exactly what you believe. You believe in predestination and you believe in judgment day. That doesn't make sense. It is self-contradictory. Well, may God richly bless you. That was the portion of Dr. Shabir. Shall we end it up here? And actually, Sam Shamoun is going to respond to this. And in the next session, we are going to hear Sam Shamoun out in his response. May God richly bless you. Greetings to everyone. Bye-bye.